Hi everyone, so today I'm going to show you my Winter Dewey foundation routine. This foundation routine is for more oily skin type people like me. I have my T-zone is oily pretty easily, my forehead and then this part of my cheeks, but I do have drier spots around my nose and my chin area. So I will show you how I do my foundation. And today I'm going to use the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. It is a more expensive and higher end foundation. So if you want an alternative, I love the CoverGirl Ready Set Gorgeous foundation, which is kind of a dupe. It is not exactly the same finish, but if you want a more affordable foundation that is kind of dewy as well, then that is a really good one that I like a lot, and it has pretty good coverage. I would say it's medium coverage and full coverage if you add another layer. So to get started, I'm going to use the Hourglass Mineral Veil Primer, and I'm going to put that more in the middle of my face. So I will take some on my finger and just put it more in the T-zone. This just helps the foundation glide on really nicely and smoothly and even out those pores. Smooth them all out. I don't always use a primer, but today I figured I would go for it. I don't think a primer is necessary just day-to-day basis, probably, or I use it more just special occasions where I want my foundation to stay on longer and a full day. And then I'm going to go in with the Born This Way foundation, and I use it in the shade Porcelain. It is a little bit dark for me, or it's a little bit yellowy, but this is their lightest foundation. So, and I love the look that this one gives. I love the finish of it. It's really nice. So just dotting that all over my face. And I love using the Beauty Blender. It makes the foundation way more blended and not streaky as easily. I feel like with a brush it looks streaky easier and not as blended. But I take plenty of time blending it in and making sure that there's no lines by your jawline, because that happens very easily if you don't take your time blending that out. There, I think I've got that about blended in. And then for my concealer, I'm going to use the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer in the shade NC15. I'm going to just put that on the back of my hand and then take it from there. And I have this in the lightest shade, so when I have a little bit of a darker foundation, then it actually shows up as a highlight. I'm pretty fair, so it usually doesn't work to highlight very well because none of the shades are light enough. I'm going to use this as my under eye concealer, just dabbing that in, and I take it kind of in a straight line down the side of my nose and then just highlighting that part, and then I'm going to take a little bit more and take it up and then just press it in. And I like to take whatever is left on the Beauty Blender and just take it on my eyelid. I don't really use, whoa, that was a bit much. I like to use a concealer as an eyeshadow primer because most concealers are, I don't know how to talk today. Um, most eyelid primers, they end up getting really greasy on my eyelids and just make the eyeshadow fade. So I like to just use a concealer, and I just make sure I have it patted in really well so that there's not too much on my eyelid. That way it won't crease, and later I will powder it and set it with powder. So the same thing on the other side, taking it down the side of my nose, and then the side of my eye. And whatever concealer I have left on my hand, I'm just going to take that on the bridge of my nose to use that to highlight just a little bit. And whatever is left on my Cupid's bow. And then just blend it up onto my forehead. And that's it for the concealer. Then to set all that concealer, I'm going to take my Anastasia contour palette, and I'm going to take the light 2 matte shades, and I'm going to just take them on my beauty blender. Make sure you don't squeeze it too much or else you'll get your powders wet. But I just take these and set my under eye concealer and on my eyelids, because I set this right away because it creases pretty quickly on me. So I just like to set my concealer as soon as I am done with it. And I'm going to set everything with these powders that I want to be more highlighted, like my nose and the middle of my forehead. And then whatever is left on my Cupid's bow and my chin. So the rest of my foundation I'm going to set with the Rimmel Stay Matte powder. I'm just going to take a very little bit of this because I don't want it to take away from the finish of this foundation. So I'm going to take it on the side of my beauty blender like this, just a little bit. And then the spots where I get the most oily, I will pat this in, like here by my cheeks and the side of my nose. And I will put just whatever is left on the beauty blender on the rest of my cheeks, or the side of my face, so that my bronzer and everything will blend in well. So I'm just patting that all over, and some here on my forehead. I really love how natural this foundation is. It's not very dewy, it doesn't make you look oily or super greasy like you need to go take off your foundation. Then I'm going to take the Anastasia contour kit again, and the first bronzer shade with a fluffier brush. And I'm just going to take that here on the side. And this is a bigger, fluffier brush, so it just blends it out further and is not so precise and in one spot. So I'm just going to blend that upwards. I'm not really doing much contouring today, just warming up the outer parts of my face. Going to take a little bit more for my forehead. And then I'm going to take that same shade and a much bigger, fluffier powder brush, and I'm going to take that just down my throat, just to make sure it's blended. And since my foundation is a little bit darker, then I'm just going to help that blend in a little. So to make this a little bit more of a dewier, natural glowy looking foundation, I'm going to take that shimmery shade that is in the shimmery highlight shade that is in the Anastasia contour kit. I'm just going to take some of that highlight shade, and this is not a very shimmery harsh highlight shade, so I'm going to put this here but on my cheeks and on my cheekbone. Same on the other side. And also the bridge of my nose and the middle of my forehead. And I'm gonna pat this in with my beauty blender just to make sure that it's all blended in. And this will make it look the least powdery as you can, because it kind of soaks up the powder. And then for my blush, I'm going to take my Lorac Cheek Palette and the Underrated shade. And I'm going to put that on the apples of my cheeks. And just blend that backwards. And I'm going to blend that out further with my beauty blender. Make sure all the edges are blended and I didn't get too much blush on my cheeks. From the Anastasia kit, and just put a little bit over my blush. I love the look that this gives because it's a matte blush, so I like to add a little bit to it. And then for my actual highlighter, I will be using the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in the shade Champagne Pop. I'm going to take this on that same e.l.f. blush brush, just a little bit on the tip of it. And I'm going to put it right here. I don't want this to be too harsh of a highlight. So just a little bit right there. Today I will not be bringing this on my cheeks since I already put the other highlighter or the other highlight powder on my blush. So just on the very tops. And then I'm going to take just a little bit on the tip of my nose and some on my Cupid's bow. And just blend that. I hope you enjoyed this video and you'll try out something similar. It is a lot of products that I used on my face to get this look, but if you have similar shades or similar things, then you can go ahead and use that. If you would like something similar to the Anastasia contour kit and not have to pay that price, then you could try out the NYX contour kit. I will insert a picture here of what it looks like. My sister has it and I've tried it and I love it. It's a really good dupe for the Anastasia contour kit if you want to try playing around with highlighting and contouring. So I hope you enjoyed it and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!